The SPMO is up 30.7% over the past year. The average large blend fund within this category is up 5.1%. Same market, same time frame, a 25 percentage point difference in the portfolio from one ETF that most people haven't even heard of. Now for me, this ETF is 30% of my real portfolio. It is the single largest position that I have in that portfolio, and I've been asked for months why I am so convinced on this ETF within the SPMO. So today I want to tell you exactly why, understanding the mechanics, the data, the risk, and the specific number that gave me, and really sized it in aggressively. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, when we look at the SPMO, it is the Invesco S&P 500 Momentum ETF, and it does one thing very specific. It takes that S&P 500 with 500 companies, and it only keeps the 100 companies with the strongest recent price performance, weighted by a combination of the market cap and the momentum score. It measures the percentage of change over the last 12 months. So we're looking at a year of data, excluding the most recent month that we have, and adjust for volatility. The result of this is a portfolio that automatically rotates into what is working right now. It rotates out of what isn't working. So every March, every September, without you having to do anything, it is going to make and do the decisions for you within this portfolio. Now, the reconstitution mechanic behind it is the entire thesis. The March 2026 rebalance saw a 54% portfolio turnover, which is crazy. More than half of the portfolio changed in a single event. Meta was completely removed. NVIDIA moved to 9.23% of this. Google came in with both share classes at roughly 9%. Broadcom was held at 7.9. The fund rewired and recaptured companies within the S&P 500 that held the strongest momentum score that we see right now. You didn't have to decide any of that. It was the index itself that it's tracking, and again, the methodology behind it. And after that rebalance, tech exposure actually went to 55% of the portfolio, because that is where the momentum is, and that's exactly what has been driving the performance. So here's the numbers that really made the decision to put it at 30% of my portfolio. $10,000 invested into the SPMO nearly a decade ago would be almost $50,000. Now, if we put that same $10,000 into the VOO and it grew over, that would be roughly $35,000. So pretty big difference in there of almost $13,000. When you look at a typical portfolio that we see that people buy in and out of, your $10,000 would have grown to about $24,000 within the same decade. Same market, the SPMO generated roughly $13,000 more than the VOO on that initial $10,000 investment, almost 40% more wealth from a single ETF tilt that we're seeing right here. The trailing returns really confirm a pattern that is not just one good year. When we start looking at the last 12 months, we're at 30.73. When we go back to 3 years annualized, we're at 41%. Even going further to 5 years, it is still at 41% for an annualized return. And then since inception of 2015, so we're looking at 11 years, it is putting up over a 20% annualized return, which is kind of crazy. That is not noise within this ETF. That is very persistent factor premium. And really looking at the momentum theory that a lot of people talk about, it predicts what is going to grow and what is going to grow much faster over that long-term horizon. And the quality of the performance, the Morningstar Silver medalist rating, and of course the 0.75x, the PEG ratio, is one of the strongest and best performing among ETFs. The 112% upside capture versus the S&P 500 with only 85% of the downside. So what this means is we're having higher highs and we're having lower lows in this ETF. The asymmetry in the portfolio is exactly what you want of a core position. More of the upside, less of the downside, compounding this ETF for decades. Then we get into the momentum factor, and this is what exists because of human behavior, specifically the factor that markets underreact to good news initially and then overreact later. When a company reports earnings, a stock traditionally goes up. The momentum factor premium actually exists because of human behavior, specifically the fact that markets underreact to good news and later overreact to that same good news. When a company reports exceptional earnings, the stock might go up a little bit, but not as much as it immediately should. Investors are skeptical. They wait a little bit more time. When evidence comes in, confidence build, the stock continues to rise. This continuation is the momentum that we're seeing within the S&P 500. Now, this research goes all the way back to 1993. When Jagadeesh and Titman documented a persistent 1% per month premium for buying within the markets, physics tells you that something that is in motion is going to stay in motion. The data in the market says the exact same thing, with one very important caveat. The caveat is momentum crash. They are real, very violent, and anyone who owns the SPMO really needs to understand this before you put a single dollar into it. In early 2026, the SPMO was down about 7%. Before we seen that major reconstitution in March, which flipped over 54% of the portfolio. In early 2020, when COVID initially happened, momentum strategies got absolutely hammered because some of the strongest positions they held at that time were energy and financials, which of course were two of the hardest industries or sectors that got hit at that time. The recovery was fast, but the downside that we've seen with this ETF was very, very sharp. This is the specific mechanism. At reconstitution in September of 2026, the SPMO will rebuild its portfolio based on what has worked for the prior 12 months. If the market environment shifts dramatically between now and then, the way we've seen it in early 2020, you could be holding the previous cycle winners in a cycle they're not built for. The reconstitution to this is always the fix. There might be a little bit of lag time between when the market changes and the index to catch up, and that lag is exactly where the risk in this ETF sits. If you can't hold through a 10, 20, 30% downturn without selling, the SPMO at 30% of your portfolio or even greater could really hurt you. At 30%, it has to be sized right. You got to have that conviction in this ETF that it has to be real. So then the question always comes up, so why am I holding it at 30%? There are three reasons, and I want to be very logical about this like I am in my video. Very straightforward, because these are a lot of comments that I get when I revealed my portfolio. First, the momentum factor is real. The factor premium is real. It is very persistent, and it pays off if you're staying fully invested with the compounding factor. 5% of my portfolio, it had meaningful returns, but it's not going to return and really move my total portfolio where we're trying to outperform the S&P 500. At 30%, the premium is enough to really carry the portfolio, and looking to really compound in any of the gaps that I have in my portfolio. The 10-year data says the gap is worth roughly $13,000 on every $10,000 invested. Sized at 5%, the premium is just a rounding error. Sized at 30%, the compounding becomes super, super real. The second one, I pair it with the VOO at 20% if you've seen. This way it gives me full market exposure and the factor tilt that we're looking for to outperform that S&P 500. There is a very significant overlap with the SPMO holdings that are all within that S&P 500, but I want the concentration of those 100 companies that have that highest momentum tilt. These are going to be names, of course, that are going to capture the much broader market that is going to outperform that VOO while amplifying the returns we're seeing in there. They are not duplicating in each other. These two ETFs are doing a very, very different job. And third, and the most honest reason, I am in the accumulation phase with a long time horizon. Right now, we're looking at roughly 20 years to retirement. Every momentum crash that we've seen in history has recovered. The September reconstitution is a built-in circuit breaker when you think about it, really rotating the portfolio into what is going to be the next cycle winners. Not trying to predict the cycle, not trying to watch my portfolio every single day, but building a system that is going to adapt and change with portfolios based on where the indexes are going. That is what the SPMO does twice a year. And without me doing and making a single decision about it, it is going to happen. So here's the SPMO framework, really in one paragraph. It is the 100 highest momentum stocks within the S&P 500, rebuilt twice a year at a 0.13 expense ratio with a Morningstar rating of 0.75x PEG ratio and a 10-year track record of turning $10,000 into $48,000 against the VOO's 35. That is a $13,000 game in here. If your accumulation phase is really looking at a long time horizon, it is a perfect allocation to hold in retirement or even near drawdown. Size could make a big difference because if there is a crash, if there is a turnaround, it could definitely hurt the portfolio. And of course, guys, drop a comment down below. What percent of your portfolio is in factor ETFs right now? Is it 0? Is it small, 5 or 10%? Or are you all in, like some of you have said, where we're seeing 25, 50, even 100% of portfolio being into something like the SPMO? I read every single comment. I will reply to all of them. Subscribe if SPMO or some of these ETFs are interesting to you, and I'll see you Wednesday.